Hey, and welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here. Right here. Could be wherever you are, but it's right here in the Great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're planning your very own trip to Mars, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Oh, yeah. Send me to Mars. Send me to Mars. Which, of course, means it's time.
People have asked.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's time to bring in our Martian monkey. Some say he's holier than my mesh tank top. And others say, like a tennis player, love means nothing to him. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
What I want to know is really what's love got to do with it?
It's just a secondhand emotion.
That's right.
All right. Well, you know, tonight we're going to talk about CacheTur because it's better than love, really. And we're going to bring in twlare, the CacheTur ambassador. Nice to have you on the show.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
All right.
Good to be here.
Indeed. Now, before we get into all of that, we're going to do kind of our usual here. We're going to throw out the quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. A special thanks to Land Sharks. Note the Sharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. If you are listening to the audio, there's red sharks swimming behind us. It's very exciting. You're really missing out. All right. From Land Sharks, special message, a belated happy Chinese New Year, and a mention to all of you that they still have some of the HQ's Year of the Metal Ox Geo coins that Land Sharks created for them. So if you wanted to get a hold of one of those coins, well, I'll tell you what, just go over to landsharks.ca. You can get yourself a coin.
Metal ox. Is it like metal oxide?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure that's exactly what it is not.
Oh, wow.
Well, there's a metal ox side, a metal ox front, and a metal ox back.
No top, bottom?
Could be a metal ox top and bottom, yeah.
Okay.
Quality content just keeps coming. All right. Hey, if you've had enough quality content and you want to know more about supporting this show, click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com, a website.
And we want you involved in this episode. If you've got questions for twlare, use the hashtag CacheTur. Now, I'm going to put that right there in the show notes as soon as I can click and copy it properly so that everybody spells it right, because this is a website, an application that you need to have. I'm going to make you type it over and over again tonight so you get it right, CacheTur. And, of course, you could use hashtag FATAS if you have something you want to add in the after show, because we do an after show each and every week, folks. We're here for you.
Yeah, happens right after the show.
Oh, huh.
The irony.
That's probably why they call it after show.
I'm sure that's why they do that. Yes.
Could be, yeah. Or maybe we created it and then we decided where to put it based on its name.
That's far more likely.
More like it.
Could be that. All right. Well, news. This just handed to me. We have a prize tonight. Thanks to our guest twlare and CacheTur. Everyone, yes, everyone who contributes a comment or question to the show tonight using hashtag CacheTur spelled the correct way will be automatically entered to win. So get active in that chat room with the hashtag CacheTur, and you'll be entered to win a fantastic prize. Do we want to tell them what it is, Johnny, or should we just let them guess or make them wonder?
Let's have Vanna show them.
Yes. Ooh, look at that.
Oh.
This is a CacheTur trackable.
I was going to say, I have a hunch it's trackable.
Very
It is a trackable, yes.
It's a pair of multicolored shoes.
Yes, also trackable.
All right. And the comments are already just flying in there.
And
Yes,
such
I
quality
like
content.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. Thankfully, she already commented with hashtag CacheTur, so she's entered to win.
Right. But remember, it's contribute a comment or question using hashtag CacheTur. Don't just put hashtag CacheTur. That doesn't help us at all.
Oh, so much fun. Hey, folks, there is a little bit of HQ news. That's Geocaching HQ if you're brand new to the podcast. they have updated the GeoCachinger app to include streaks, milestones, and DTs. Oh, maybe stats. Maybe that's what that means. DT stats.
You got it.
Because you don't want to put the DTs in an app, do you? Now, premium members only can view their current geocaching streak, difficulty and terrain grid, and caching milestones on the GeoCachinger app. So you click your app, you go to profile, and there's an option right there for stats. If you have a streak going, it goes right above the DT grid. Otherwise, if you don't have a streak going, it says adventure is everywhere. Go find a geocache today. And it shows you your current DT grid, which is really nice. Now, it would have been absolutely fantastic if you were able to click one of those zeros in your grid and it sorts out all the caches near you. It doesn't do that. You go to the website and it'll help you there. But
It's a handy, quick reference.
it really is. I think it's quite nice.
Yeah. So make sure you use that app and get the DTs.
There you go. But yeah, I think it would say get the DTs. I think the point you made about the current streak is important though, because I know a lot of people were commenting like, hey, it says the streak's in here, but I don't see that data in here.
Right.
Again, it's not until you log the first cache of that streak since the app was updated that you'll see that. So it's kind of sneaky that way.
Those HQ folks, they are sneaky.
Mm.
And they are busy. Always
Busy
bringing us some new features.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Any other news? I don't
No,
think
no.
there's anything else.
No news that's with print.
Oh, okay.
Something landed on Mars. Other than that,
Yes,
well,
it
there's
did.
that.
Yes, it did.
And
We
that
watched
went off without a hitch.
amazing
what-
smooth considering the distance traveled and the science of that just boggles my mind. But
right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine, working for 7 years on a project and hoping that, okay, I've done everything I can. In 7 years, this is going to work.
I'm pretty sure those commas were in the right place. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we get the conversion between miles and kilometers right this time?
Okay, so speaking of that, something I watched part of the live stream, like just when it was actually landing today, and something that I noticed that I thought was quite entertaining was on the public-facing simulation website that NASA used to sort of show live what should be happening, because obviously you can't get a live video stream from the device.
And why not? Why didn't you just launch a
Come on,
chase spacecraft with a camera to film the first spacecraft's descent?
How easy is that? A GoPro
come
on a
on.
string. We
Step
figured
it up,
it
you
out.
guys.
If you're building one, build two, and then you have a spare.
Good point. I hadn't
See?
considered that. But my original point being, watching that and all the distances and speeds were all in imperial, yet listening to the people at NASA JPL in the room actually doing the work, we're all speaking in metric. So I found that very funny that the actual work was done in metric, but when they display it for the general public, they're like, okay, we'll just put it in miles because no
That's
one's
interesting. Yeah, because the feed I watched, they were actually speaking in English, but they were using metric units
where are
to
they?
describe the distance. Yeah.
Oh, well, I found that they were all using base 10 to speak. So
Oh, okay. That's really good.
smart ass.
Hey, family friendly. So, the feed I watched was the JPL raw feed, and the screen they had up was all in metric.
There you go.
It was consistent with their speakage.
With their speakage.
Speakage.
TW Lair, did you watch the Mars rover land?
Didn't watch the rover. I kind of followed. I followed along on Twitter actually. Yeah,
Cool.
got different.
I was
takes.
amazed. On screen, they had a 38-point checklist that they were following.
Oh.
Just for what is it? Entry, descent, and landing. EDL.
Okay.
I lost one of the letters there. Sorry.
Yeah,
It came-
good job.
And
good.
they were going through, okay, it's done this, and there's an 11-minute delay from when it reports that, hey, we've entered this phase.
Yeah.
So you think about it, it's 7 minutes from entry to landing, but there's an 11-minute delay. So by the time you get the first piece of data back, everything's already happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, impact on the surface. So
It was quite exciting. We watched it live at work, and then we saw the first grainy black and white pictures of rocks from the Pasadena studio where they faked the whole thing. And then we went back to work. It was just very, very exciting. But you know what else is exciting?
they fake it just like the moon landing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Safety duty.
CacheTur is exciting because Mars is exciting, but we can't geocache there yet.
Yet.
That'll come someday.
Yes.
So tonight we're talking about CacheTur and finding geocaches right here on good old planet Earth. And to tell us all about CacheTur is twlare, as you've already heard. So welcome again. We've had you on the podcast before. It's been far too long, but maybe somebody hasn't had the pleasure of meeting you yet. Could you tell us a little bit about, maybe your home coordinates, what you enjoy about geocaching, and start us off?
Well, I live in the Northwest of the Northwest. I live in Whatcom County, Washington. So upper left corner of the upper left. And I love hiking, and I love travel, and I love adventures. And that's why I love geocaching. It's perfect for all those things.
Fantastic.
And geocaching inspires me to get out and do the things I like, and has led to exploring more than 35 countries all over. Well, not all over, but in many parts of this particular planet. And has also introduced me to new friends who live really in all parts of the world. So it's awesome. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, definitely. There's a whole lot of great things about the game that you just mentioned there.
Yeah.
Now you're joining us as an ambassador for CacheTur,
Mm-hmm.
and we're excited to catch up on what's new, maybe get a few great tips. But first, just in case our listeners aren't familiar with it, and I saw that we already had a hashtag CacheTur from Donna that said, hashtag CacheTur. What is CacheTur? Well, that's our question. Can you explain what CacheTur is?
That's a great question. And CacheTur is a trip planning tool for geocachers, and it's to plan geocaching trips of all sizes, from a day to a month to as long as you like, whether near or far, and alone or with groups. So it's a trip planning tool for just any kind of trip. And geocaching trips and trips that maybe involve other activities too. It's not just limited to geocaches. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Wait. There are trips that don't involve geocaching? I've never heard of it.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
My family would probably love to hear of those, but that's not going to happen. We have another question in from Catherine that says, looking forward to being able to use it while taking a real trip in the future, but it can be fun to use for planning and dreaming now.
Absolutely. Winter time is planning time for sure. So it's a great time to be planning trips. And I'll tell you, I'm planning multiple trips that I don't even know when I'm going to take them, but I'm already got started with the planning.
Nice.
Yeah. And so it's great for that.
And it's not something you have to put off, because you're thinking, this is going only for long trips. It can be for 3 or 4 caches, and being able to share that with a friend. So these things work really well like that. Yeah.
Sounds like you've used it some yourself, Chris.
Well, I have. Well, we might talk about that in a little bit. MC3 Cats used it on one of our caching days. Included adventure labs as well as geocaches, and it all worked so well. Timing, it's got timing down, saying you're ahead of schedule or behind schedule, and it's a fabulous tool. Yes, I love it. Dora Moore says she used hashtag CacheTur to plan a trip to the geocaching capital of Canada in 2019. It gave us an idea of how much time to allow for the trip. I loved it.
Sweet. Thanks, Dora.
Now, twlare, I think we've all used the term website and app kind of interchangeably. What is CacheTur? Is it just a website? Is it just an app?
Okay. So, great question, Chris. So there's 2 parts. So the trip planning tool is a web-based tool. So you want to go on your computer or maybe on an iPad, open your account, start your trips, plan your trips in a browser application. Once you've planned your trip, there is an app for your mobile device, your phone, or your tablet. And that is kind of your trip runner. So you're not planning the trip there, but that's the thing that you download your trip into there. So it's in your device. And as you go through your day, you can kind of check in with your app. And you maybe have done this with MC3 Cats, Chris, where he would tap it and say, or maybe you were running the app on your phone, tap it and say, okay, we're just now leaving this waypoint, this cache, or this, whatever, this stop. And it would update your times for the rest of the day and let you know if you're ahead or behind your schedule. You can't reorganize your trip. You can't replan the trip from within the app, but you can keep track of how you're doing compared to your original plan.
Exactly.
And you might decide to shave off a couple stops. You might decide that you had some stops that were maybe a little bit lower priority, and you're going to go ahead and do those because you're running ahead of time. So it's getting the most out of every caching day.
Nice. Now, we have a question from Keats94 that wants to know, is the app compatible for both Apple and Android devices?
Yep, of course. Yep. So, works for both. And I've used it on both myself. So I can attest to that. So, but again, your planning is going to happen on your computer. It's going to happen on your iMac or your PC, whatever.
Very handy. That's great.
Yeah.
Sorry if you have a Windows Phone or a Palm Pilot, but
Yeah, we're all sorry.
Sorry for other reasons. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. So that covers the background really well. And, if somebody says, oh, yeah, I've used that. I used it about a year ago. I'm good. I don't need to learn anything else. Is that true? Or have there been any changes in the past year?
Well, there are frequently changes. And most of the changes come about as user feedback. So if you have an idea for something, go in and let us know that you have an idea for something, how it can be better, how it can work better for you. For example, one of our most recent features, it's a small thing, but it meant a big difference to me, which is CacheTur. And I'm going to show this a couple different ways, but in CacheTur, you add waypoints. You can add a cache, you can add a lunch stop, a restaurant that you heard about, and it was really great, and you want to make sure you hit that, all kinds of things. And so you've got a list of waypoints, you're adding things in, and we just added a keyboard shortcut just so you can add a waypoint in at your current insertion point and just to do that a little quicker. So that's the most recent change. And you can see our change log either on your CacheTur homepage, the dashboard it's called, in the lower left corner, or there's a change log at CacheTur, CacheTur.no/changelog. You could find all the most recent updates that way. Another kind of recent thing, unfortunately does not apply to the current promotion, Wonders of the World, or Wonders of the Worlds, as it's going to be soon. But for some other promotions that are kind of points-based, there's a promotion calculator. So when you need to, if it's a promotion that you need to, so many points for an event, so many points for logging a trackable, that kind of statistical sort of promotion, then there's a calculator. So CacheTur will actually calculate the potential points you might get going on a particular, any given trip. That's another more recent feature. And then since I was on the show last time, which was 2019, there's been a big implementation for logging your finds on CacheTur.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question for you is, can CacheTur help me log my finds? So I'm going to just step back one step and say the CacheTur app is not a geocache finding app. It's for tracking your trip. But once you've finished your trip, you can use CacheTur, the website, the planning section, to log your finds. And I wanted to bring this to you guys to share with your audience, because one of the things that I listened to the episode a couple of weeks ago with JT Coffee talking about geocaching goals. And she mentioned one of her goals was to write better logs.
And that's a great goal because we all love to read good logs. In fact, I know of a great podcast that has covered outstanding geocaching logs for years. Yeah, they even had some really clever acronym. Can't really remember it right now.
Some of those podcasters are really smart.
Usually when they come in groups of
Yeah.
3, they're really smart.
And some of them just show up and read them.
But we love writing great logs. What we don't like to do so much is spend our time in the field writing long logs. I have to admit to being one of these people that's a little bit that way. So what I like to do is make a few notes in the field, save it, and move on to the next cache. And then when I get back to my computer, I can actually, use all 10s of my digits to write a really nice log, and maybe include a couple of awesome pictures that I took in the field, and make sure I dip my trackables and all that stuff. And you could do all that from the logging feature. So it's really powerful, saves time, and makes for caching better for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really impressed just using the app and being able to click on a cache name, pull it up in whatever app you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It gave you the choice. What app do you want to open the cache links in? And, it pops right to it. I'm like, this is so nice.
Yep. The app will also navigate you to, there's like a navigation thing task. So you can tap a button and it'll navigate you to the cache. Again, it's not going to give you a compass so you can drill down fine. You're going to use another device for that, but the app is fab. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, we have some questions in from our chat room. Our chat room is so very busy. Thank you all for your great questions. IHAM asked, what are the future plans for the app?
That's a really good question. We're in a stable mode right now. So I'm not sure that there are not future plans to turn the app into a standalone geocaching product. I can tell you that. The app itself is meant to be your companion in the field, and the purpose, CacheTur's mission is really all around planning great geocaching trips. So we're going to continue to focus on features that will help people plan great geocaching trips.
Nice. Now I got to figure out how to get myself into stable mode.
Sorry? Chris, I spoke over you.
I said I got to figure out how to get myself into a stable mode.
Yeah. I gave up on that.
That sounds like a place I want to be.
I do want to throw out, though, our chat, by the way, is always active, even when there's not a prize at stake. So they're just great active chat people.
That's true. Hey, Peach asked a question too. CacheTur updates. Looking forward to knowing what new features can now be used. I think we went over that.
Yeah. Just to kind of cover some of them, we already talked about that CacheTur will calculate the timing for the day. You put in your start time, and it'll calculate your time at each cache. That's in the planning, so you can see: can I add some more caches? Do I need to pull some stuff out? Do I want to change some priorities here so that so I've got some plan A's and plan B's kinds of things. That's one of the one of the most powerful features of the app, or the planner. Planning multi-day trips. You break your trip up, and if you have a trip that's longer than a day, it's very easy to break your trip up into multi-days, so you can have your start point, end point for each day make sense, and again, see how much you can fit in. It's also a lot of customization. If you happen to know you're a person that kind of plans an outline, but likes to do a lot of spontaneous, either, oh, I saw this power trail, didn't look so great when I was home, but I think I want to dash off there and do a little bit of that. Then there's an adjustment that you can put in for your own caching style, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's
Starcacher says, I use CacheTur.no, CacheTur.yes, often for any day trips lasting more than half a day. I add 400 seconds per stop to adjust for extra time looking for DNFs. Then the timing is good.
Exactly. That's one of those customizing features. And I add about 300 extra seconds per CacheTur called administration time. And that's just you can do it by trip or in your own personal setting. So it's for every trip. And that kind of just makes everything work out just about right for me too. So you can really flex around your own caching style.
Exactly. Mrs. Landsharks asked, would it work for taking a group of geocachers on a Danube River cruise, stopping at multiple cities over many days?
Absolutely, Helen.
She's asking for a friend.
Well, winky. Absolutely. It's super for that. And because you can invite other people to be part of your trip. That way they could see day by day how the plans were evolving. And if they saw they were going to have, 2 hours in a city and you weren't doing something as a group, they could go ahead and add in their own plans kind of thing. So yes, and I have actually used it for a larger group, exactly like what you guys do, so that I could share the plans with other people, get feedback about things that they might want to do different if it's that kind of group. And I know you plan a lot for your group, so I cannot think of a better tool to use to share with your riverboat cruise group.
Well, and Sergey Hove said the same thing, that you can plan directly with friends. You can create public or private groups where you can plan trips that any member of the group can opt in to join.
Very helpful.
Yeah, and that's a good morning to you, Carl. He's in Norway, I'm guessing, at the moment. Yeah, sweet. Up very early.
Yes, I was going to say, if there's someone who has some answers, that might be one of the people.
It might be.
Besides Wendy, yeah.
More answers, but we'll all do the best we can.
And you're doing an amazing job. We had some more questions. Wet Coaster, who commented that the online documentation is extremely helpful. So there's a thumbs up from Wet Coaster. But he asked the question, will the route timings update as you go along? If you change the time, you would arrive at the next cache if you're running faster than the estimate. Oh, will it change the time that you would arrive at the next cache if you're running faster than the estimate?
Yep, that's what the app will do. It'll recalculate the rest of your day as you update. That's
Very
exactly
helpful.
what it does. Really helpful.
I have actually used it exactly like that on when we, I guess 2-3 years ago, when we did our big road trip through the eastern seaboard in the US, and we were going from province to province and then state to state, and you never know what delays you might encounter. And we had everything, primarily earth caches, but also, key geocaches that we were trying to get to, like oldest in the state and things like that. And it worked smooth as silk. It was really slick to have that. So
Wait a minute, Land Monkey, you find geocaches too? I thought you only did earth caches.
I will occasionally do something other than an earth cache. Yes.
Okay.
By the way, it's 6:27 a.m. on Friday for Sergey Hove.
It's tomorrow there.
It's tomorrow. So if you wondered if tomorrow's going to arrive, it already has.
There you go.
It's almost 7 hours into tomorrow.
Yeah.
So no worries. Tomorrow's going to happen.
Yeah.
Donna asked the question. We've got so many great questions. It's hard to keep up in the chat here. Donna wants to know, how many caches a day does it plan? What's the maximum?
Okay, that's a great question. And basically, you get to plan how many caches you put in each day, because you're the person that's going to put the caches in it and the other stops. It organizes the stops that you want to make, including caches. So you can put any number of caches into a day that you want. And one of the features I should have mentioned but didn't is, and gets back to her question. One of the great features is it will optimize your route for the day. So you can put in a start point and an end point. Those need to be known points that you want to start and end at. And you could put in any number of caches that you want in between. You can add as many as you like. There may be a hard limit, but it would be a large number. You can, and the program will automatically not automatically, but when you request it, optimize your trip from beginning to end. So it'll put the caches in an optimal order. And it can actually optimize that order by mode. So say you're walking, you might choose a different order for walking than for driving. And you could do that for subsets of your caches. But the optimization is for up to 80 caches in at a time. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Any number of caches in a day that you like, what you choose, but optimize up to 80 stops.
Nice. MC3 Cat says it's great for cache machines, right? So it'll help you
Yes.
optimize the route for those as well. He also says that I'm a proud supporter of CacheTur. This app/website is pretty awesome, especially if you're running cache trips with other cachers.
Yes, and I was actually going to say that CacheTur he's a supporter. It's a donation supported site. We do not have any premium features. All features are available to all users. You need to be a geocaching.com premium member to get full use of the website, and that's because of the API partner agreement. But thank you, Chris, MC3 Cats, for being a proud supporter. It makes a difference, and the site can't run without support.
And GSM times 2 often says things we already know, right? Like Wendy is very, very knowledgeable.
Mhm.
She helped me learn CacheTur when I was having a lot of trouble navigating the learning curve.
Well, thanks, Scott.
There you go.
So with that, could you help us a little bit to share your cache or CacheTur logging workflow?
Yeah, I could show the logging workflow. Let me pull up my other screen. I don't know how. Maybe I have to go here. Does that help?
Like
Perfect.
this?
Yeah. Okay, except this is not the trip. I'm going to go to, so I'm looking at a trip here. Here's the dashboard, the kind of your home screen. And this is my demo user. So you'll see, did you know that CacheTur is funded by a minority of users? And we'd like to see that be everybody who uses it. So I'm going to pull down trips here, and I'm going to look for my ended trips. And I actually think maybe it's not that. Let's try here again. Oh, I have an ongoing trip that was today. So I did a kind of a fun trip today. Here's my trip from today.
Okay.
So I did a faux trip today and logged my caches in Cachely. I use Cachely on the iPhone for my caching, but I could use a handheld GPS. I could use a different app. I could use the official geocaching app, as long as I save my drafts in save my logs in draft mode, which you can do on any of those things. So I would, from my trip that I planned today and went on today, I would click Post Trip Assistant here. And that takes me into this logging with CacheTur, or the CacheTur logging Post Trip Assistant. And I could have a variety of things here. If I had any earth caches or virtual caches on the trip, they would show up here under Task Answers. And I could, this would kind of remind me to go ahead and log my answers for those virtuals and the earth caches. And I didn't happen to have any on this trip, but you can go into that answering tool and draft your answer in there. Mark it as sent, mark it as, well, these things here, mark the answer as drafted, mark the answer as sent, and all those sorts of things.
That's pretty slick. I like that feature.
That's a nice feature. And so I can also import, I could either import, I don't use this very much because of me being an app user, but you can bring in logs in different ways. But usually what I do is bring in, you can import your logs like from a visits.txt file from your Garmin GPS. You can even bring in your visits from the CacheTur app if you happen to just mark your finds in the CacheTur app. But I normally just bring in mine from geocaching.com, which I bring in from the Cachely app, push them up to geocaching.com, and then I download them from there. And you can see I actually have another day that I've got here logged, but I'm only going to bring in the caches from today. I'm going to log that other day another time. So I've just marked the ones that I'm going to go ahead and log at this time, and I'm going to copy them over to the trip. And here they are. couldn't find them for a minute. And there they are. And I just remembered I forgot to bring the pictures over. So I won't show you how to do that, which is too bad. But you can also upload pictures in bulk here, drag and drop. The next step will bring them in. It will assign them to the caches that it thinks they belong to, but you can drag them and make them go to the caches that if it makes a mistake. And it uses the geolocation and the time, but sometimes it's a little bit off, and so you can always correct those if you like to.
That's still pretty slick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So I can go in and, like I said, with my 10 fingers, I can add some goodies here, like happy birthday to your sweet pup, because Dilly's a pup. And you'll notice here, while I'm working on my log, I've got a little section to add, right? My log, it's brought in my draft. It's showing me the street view over here, which if I've found 25, 30, 40 caches, I might not immediately recognize the name of the cache.
Yeah,
but
I struggle with that after 4 or 5. So
okay, me too, honest. But the showing the street view can be really helpful. It's going to show you the description of the cache. Dilly is our mostly Havanese service dog, and the hint. And I've got some logs down here. Some handy other things. I can upload a single picture if I want to, if I didn't want to do a bulk import. And I can also open up the cache on geocaching.com or just the cache gallery. You can also do your TB visits here. So I could add my trackable that goes everywhere and my little geomobile. And those are from your own
your inventory.
Your own inventory, right? I can mark favorite points, and if I had marked the favorite point in the app, that would import. Same thing with images. If I had an image attached to my log, that would import as well, and I can mark it as a needs maintenance if I need to, and then move on to the next one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really
That
cool.
is powerful.
Yep. So super powerful. So I'm not going to do all these because that kind of gives you the general idea. Mm-hmm. But and you could see when I come back to the post-trip assistant, which is kind of my dashboard for all this stuff, I've now got a favorite point marked, I've got travel bug visits, and I've got some log text. If you are the kind of person that likes to have your, here's the story of my day logs, then you can set that up and import that into all of your logs for the day. To have that same text be applied to every single log.
Very handy.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're all done with that, you can, if all my logs are all finished, these aren't, but if they were all finished, I could go to my backlog, pick any that are finished, which I would normally just choose all of them, Control-Shift to pick all, or just whatever. Let's see here, uncheck those, set them to publish, and then set status. And then if I push start publishing in the background, they'll just all get published one after the other. All the pictures, everything will just go off and into the up to geocaching.com, and my logs that are up on geocaching.com will be automatically deleted if I've set that setting, which is something you can do, and I do set mine that way. So
slick.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I have a question. Can you take your finds from CacheTur and send that to somebody else so they can log them as well?
That's a really good question, Chris.
Is it a downloadable file that you could send off? So let's say Land Monkey Witsend and I go out on a great day of caching. We have one person that's keeping track of everything we found. We're going to make that Land Monkey. And he's like, here's all our finds for today. You can go log them.
Okay, let me think.
Well, why you think about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hey, Carl, if you're still there, I would be really interested to know what your answer to that one is.
It's probably 7:00 in the morning. She should be there. He
He's
might be
still answering questions in the chat.
Yes, he is.
So I
Yeah.
think
sure he's still there.
Keith says the Street View feature is fantastic. I've been confused before when it comes to multiple cache
Yeah.
finds.
And he's a lot younger than I am, so I feel so much better. Thank you.
He's younger than at least one of my children. So yes.
Yeah, it is great for story logs. Absolutely. And actually, even for situations where you don't do story logs and you just want to, if you're on a, I'm going to say it, if you're on a power trail and you just want to just put the basic stuff in, it's very nice for that.
Exactly. He says if the file exists on a device, it's no problem.
Oh, there you go.
So let's see. What else do we have?
Start Cacher had a tip about Tamper Monkey. He said,
Yeah.
Tamper Monkey makes CacheTur easy. I looked at CacheTur before I heard about Tamper Monkey on a podcast and thought it was not worth the effort. But with Tamper Monkey installed, and Tamper Monkey is a Chrome plugin. So if people
okay.
wonder what that is,
I'd not heard of it.
I just assumed it was Land Monkey.
No,
Messing
no.
with computers.
Yeah,
messing with your computer, yeah.
I typically don't trust anything with monkey in the title, but
I don't know why.
Tamper Monkey is a great extension to Chrome. It allows you to put in scripts and make things happen. You have to know what you're doing a bit. I wouldn't suggest it to everyone to start with, but there are some very powerful CacheTur. I think of Grease Monkey. I say Grease Monkey scripts instead of Tamper Monkey scripts. But yeah, same idea.
Yeah. Actually, I can show a kind of cool little thing, what he's talking about. If I can make it show a different tab, how do we do that? Let's see, share.
You would have to share a new page.
Yeah, share a new tab.
How do I do that?
I think you have to stop sharing what you're currently
Yeah, I think
doing.
you have to close that current share.
So while Wendy's doing that, I'll also share that 3Ham said that CacheTur is a great way to plan a fun day, isn't it? So,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely it is.
Okay. So, am I sharing this?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
You see a geocache. Okay, great. So I have a sample trip that I was making to share with you, but that Tamper Monkey thing is just such a great thing. So Tamper Monkey is a browser extension, and you could see that I have it running here because I've got in my little drawer here. I've got this little, I don't know. To me it looks like a little cassette tape, but you can see that what I'm looking at down here is the geocaching.com map. But it's got this little additional thing that's not on everybody's geocaching.com map. And it says add caches to, and it's got the name of a trip, which this particular trip is called Poulsbo because it's going to Poulsbo. And you can see the trip is a list. The trip, a CacheTur trip is a collection of caches or waypoints that you plan to go to in a specific order. And that's how I have this purple line showing the route that I'm planning to take for this trip from up here in the left-hand corner of the left-hand of the upper of the Northwest. And what it means is, and why is it doing this for me? I don't need that. There we go. Let me see if I can just zoom in a little bit so it'll make a little bit more sense. So so I can add it. Basically, what this add in the CacheTur Assistant is what it's called. So Tamper Monkey is the browser socket that you can plug in a plugin, and the CacheTur Assistant is the plugin that I have plugged in. So I like Earth caches too. So I see there's an Earth cache here, and I can add it to my trip with one click like that. And now I've added it to my trip. And I can add a comment saying, this one is for the Land Monkey.
Now, how slick is that? That's
comment.
pretty.
And I can set a priority, which priority 1, hello, it's an Earth cache.
It's an Earth cache, yeah.
And I could filter. And I can say deselect all. I can say hidden by. I happen to know there's a few caches in here that are by goblin dust, and they almost all have. Oh. Why do you think it's not letting me do that? Oh, because they all have to be there. Okay, let's try that again. Hidden by goblin dust.
There you go.
There we go. So I'm gonna add all these. I
Well,
just
yeah.
know I'm gonna be sorry if I miss any of these.
Yeah. And that priority bit that you've talked about is also fantastic because you can set different priorities so that if you're running low on time, you can go, well, this was a lower priority cache, so I can bypass this one. I don't need it for my fizzy or, you know, whatever goals you're setting. So I think that's pretty slick.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's running Tamper Monkey running with the CacheTur assistant. And you see the same thing. Let's see, here we go. Except you guys can't see that anymore. Let's do it like this. So it's also on every individual cache page, and the send to CacheTur is now here on the individual cache page. So same thing. And I think if I scroll down, it'll show that I've already added it to that list down here. So very nice, very handy.
Nice indeed.
Wow.
Chris, you were asking earlier about having me log caches for you guys. And Carl had said there's talk about group logging, but he'll have to see if it's actually a possibility. So,
I mean, look how quickly we get response from developers.
developer.
It's amazing.
That's because we've got Wendy on the show.
Oh, okay.
Well, I warned him I was going to be on here, and he probably quite rightly decided I think she might need backup.
I love the fact that Wendy's going to be on Caching the Northwest. So it's not, I told him I'm going to be on the podcast. It's, I warned him I'm going to be with you guys.
Yeah.
Unattended.
Well, there's that. Hey, Ari wants to know if I just want to use the logging tool without a trip, is that possible, or do I need to make a dummy trip to import them into?
Yeah, it needs to be attached to a trip. I think it needs to be attached to a trip.
I would think it does.
I'm not sure because I don't think you can import directly into the backlog. So, right. I think if you attach to a trip.
Well, if there's another way, Carl will
but
let
they
us
don't
know.
need to already be in the trip. You just need to have a trip that you can import your logs into. Yeah. And they'll be, if they were not already part of the trip, then they would be imported as so-called bonus logs.
Yes, you need a trip.
Yeah.
There you go.
And by the way,
they don't have to be in the trip.
Carl's having his morning coffee in the office, ready to start work at 7. Oh, too good.
So there's some other trip planning features that are really powerful that I would love to share with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Please.
Why don't we do that?
So I've got that trip that we talked about. I added some other caches here. I'm sharing. I don't know if you can see the screen here.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So I already talked about that this will optimize your trip for your order of your trip for you. And I already had a trip started with some of the adventure labs that are in Poulsbo, and we just added a few more caches. And I was just going to quickly show how to optimize the order of the caches, because these we put in sort of in a random order. So we would go to this sort tool. This is under this was under the trip tools. So I'm just going to say, for this particular trip, I'm just going to pick every cache because I already have my start point, which is here. And I just repeated those same coordinates here. And I'm going to come down, scroll all the way down to here where it says automatic sorting. I'm already in car mode, so that's good because I plan on doing most of this trip by car. If it looks like some in the downtown section is better by foot, I can kind of separate those out as a group and just have those be by foot. But I'm going to say, let's just, for starters, put them in the right order so that they're by car. And it looks like it didn't move them around that much. These labs are in some other places. It's going to show me my map. here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my trip there. Oh, I see these are south of Hillsborough. So that explains why they're not mixed in right now. So, and then I just want to save that. And then another, sorting your trip by, yeah, that didn't make a huge difference, but it can make a difference if you're putting in things that are right in the middle of your the waypoints that you've already added.
Yeah, looks like you're starting at a pretty good geocache there too. That one's pretty old.
Yeah, it's also really a convenient place for me to start. So under the waypoints menu here, I have add waypoints from lists. And I guess I'll back up and just talk about, under tools. Nope. Here we go. Public lists. So I can have my own lists, and I do have some lists. And I can also there's also a number of public lists. And some of these are in other places, so they're going to be in other languages. There's a imported list of the Travel Bug Hotels of America, all the cache across America, caches, which is a cache series. Let me see.
The Oregon rest stops is actually really useful if there's a particular challenge in Washington State that would be helpful for.
That's true. Or if you're just planning a road trip, it can be really nice to have that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the Gladder Bladder Challenge. So.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. So I'm going back to my trip, Poulsbo. So you can add waypoints from any list that you own or are a subscriber to. And you can do actually multiple lists at the same time. And this is how you would do that. So say you're keeping a list of, for example, there's a challenge. It's a challenge in Washington State, and it's in some other places too, that's to find 50 caches that are hidden or are adopted by charter members, geocaching.com charter members. And there's a public list that I'm subscribed to there. And there's also the Washington History Challenge, which is to find all the caches in Washington State surviving that were placed in the first year of geocaching. So you could pick any number that you want here and then click on Map Selected Lists. And it will show you your trip. And it will show you all those caches or waypoints on all the lists that you selected. And then with one click, you can say, oh, look at this. I need this one. This is on the Washington History Challenge. That particular one, I only have the ones on the list that I need to find, add it to the trip, and it says the waypoint has been added to the trip. So very handy for a variety of things. And then it looks like most of the charter member caches around here, though there's not that many. So now I've added that Green Mountain cache to my trip. And actually a nice thing to know is that you can set an insertion point by double clicking anywhere. And that sets this little dash line. So my caches will be inserted there. Very handy. Nice. So I don't have to keep moving them.
I was going to say, I just saw you grab one of the points, move it anywhere on that list. Mm-hmm. And then you can also redo your route and it will compensate for that, correct?
Yep. It'll recalculate the route for you. And you can force that here, which it'll do it every so often. It'll kind of wait till you've stopped doing it. But you can always order a new route calculation and that your route will show here.
Nice.
And then I was really inspired by JT Coffey's appearance on your show.
She's quite inspiring.
A few weeks back, because I'm kind of goal-oriented like she is as well. And
I tried to get her into the business of making personalized geocaching goal journals for all of our listeners, but she didn't want to do that.
Did she decline? She
declined.
Oh.
And then she went and got a job at HQ, and I can't say anything bad now.
Well, one other fun thing that you can do with the list I don't think I mentioned this. The two other lists I showed both have geocaches on them, but lists can hold other things. For example, if you're working on the Washington Cities and Towns Challenge, which is to find, I believe you have to find a cache inside the limits of 120 specific municipalities.
Okay.
And that final is actually located right here. You can also just have waypoints, just any kind of thing that you can add to a trip. So this little trip to Poulsbo would help me make progress toward that list as well, because I can mark the spots I need to find caches like that. And I just added the 4 towns that I need to find a cache in, and that would help me remember to do that.
Nice.
And then
now,
those will...
Oh, I'm sorry. On your list, you also have Adventure Labs, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
There's a question here from GSM times 2 that says, how do you get Adventure Labs in? Sorry if I missed it. And now Carl has also answered, you can't download labs from geocaching because the API isn't public and we don't have access to but there's a macro for GSAC that can go fetch those Adventure Labs.
Yes. There is a macro for GSAC that works perfectly for that. Yeah. And the way the macro has nothing to do with CacheTur.no. It was developed by somebody else. But you can do lots of tweaking of your imports. You can import, based on coordinates, or if you have the code for the labs, and it'll suck them all in. It'll ignore the ones that you've already found. You can set it to even search the descriptions for GC codes of a bonus cache, and it'll suck that in as well. And then the export format from that macro lets you use this bulk add imports feature here.
Gotcha.
And the GSAC macro just outputs to your clipboard, and then you just paste it right in here, and they're in your and that's how they're included in your trip.
Pretty slick. So that's kind of the Reader's Digest version. Maybe we'll have to have Wendy come back on in a few weeks and walk us through some of these workflows. So I think we're starting to run low on time for today.
Okay.
Lots of
great
questions.
And I want to just do one more comment. This one's from Star Cacher. It says, I love how CacheTur has many knowledgeable ambassadors that are able to promote and explain the site on podcast or otherwise. Many software only has the programmer or Facebook groups. So Wendy, you're loved in the community. Thank you so much for taking your time this evening to talk. I hope you'll stay around for the after show.
Oh, I'd love the after show.
And we've got one more question for you in just a moment, though. If people wanted to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
I respond to messages through the geocaching.com website. My username is TWLARE. But if you're looking for help with CacheTur, it's true that there are some fantastically knowledgeable ambassadors, and we work together as a team to try to help other people. And we also have a great user community. And so CacheTur users on Facebook can connect with other users and ambassadors as well through the group CacheTur.no user forum. We also have a Slack channel if you're used to using Slack, which is just a messaging work group messaging system. It's open to all CacheTur users, and you can join the link at CacheTur.no/Slack. SLACK. And finally, on the CacheTur, your own CacheTur page, your homepage, there under the question mark pull down menu at the top, or under your own name, you can pull down the contact us and ask a question, give a feature suggestion. If you think you found a bug, please let us know, because we're happy to provide support through that method as well.
Fantastic. Some tons of great information,
Oh, huge.
tons of questions. So, Wendy, we're going to have you back soon if you're going to be all right with that.
Delighted.
Great, because clearly we didn't get to everybody's questions, and I think we still had a few things that you wanted to try and get through. We just ran out of time, so we'll reschedule another time to come back and do CacheTur the sequel. So, but hey, folks, in the meantime, you know what? I want to take a moment to thank Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Make sure that you subscribe to their newsletter to find out about new products first. And remember that landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And remember, they are shipping orders daily. We also want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Landsharks, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachely, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com a website.
I found myself holding my breath there, and I didn't know why. Just like Limax has done.
And on a boat. And did we lose Jim?
Oh, I threw Dormore in there. Oh,
No, we didn't hear you.
Didn't hear you.
oh. Well, it was, I don't know ASL, but I could do it that way.
Okay.
So,
Where are we? Antaeus.
Camp Clan,
GSM times 2.
Subway Mark.
Donners,
Green words.
LG 9000.
Kev MacD,
Hey, it's Peach.
And Broncos fan for life.
Genies,
Boomer 365.
GeoNav Pros.
Winos Seattle,
Acrodoc.
3 hams and a rose.
Tick Magnet,
Log work.
M-Nerve.
Allorubric,
Kitty Quest.
Sprouter.
Team Noltex,
Farrellwood West.
The Geo Travelers.
just finding our way.
Utalks to Rocks.
Seabeck Tribe.
T-Sayer,
MC3 Cats.
Kennel Barb.
Sege Hove. Thanks, Carl.
Hey, there's someone we want to
Yeah.
hear from tonight. Somebody else we always love to hear from. UDAC.
Trexer Zero.
CRS 98.
B. Pendragon.
Kate's 94.
And Kid Vegas 19.
Oh, so many people. The list gets longer every week, it seems.
We appreciate each and every one of them. And we appreciate Wendy for coming on tonight. So,
Yes, we do.
one more time, how would you like people to reach you, Wendy?
Through the geocaching.com website, TWLARE.
Perfect. And all three of us are on there as well. You can find us there. You can find links to our social media channels, handles, whatever you want to call that thing. But you know what? Just start off by going to cachingnw.com/hosts. You'll find everything right there.
That's right. And folks, it's time to learn a little bit about your hosts. It's at last. Now, last. It's an acronym. Listeners ask some things, and we get to answer. Now, if you want to ask some things, you can call into 253-693-TFTC or email your question to feedback@cachingnw.com with a question. And tonight's question, are you ready?
No?
Since it's a new year, I thought I'd start off with, well, it's February. I guess it doesn't count anymore. Never mind. I'll do something else. What would be the worst edible ingredients to fill a burrito with? I threw in edible. I mean, we're talking normal foodstuffs, okay?
Okay, that's
I'm
important.
laughing because Chris threw that in because when we were discussing this before the show, he was like, okay, fine, edible ingredients.
Yeah, broken glass doesn't count. That's just not good anywhere.
Walking down,
Unless you're Weird Al.
Yeah.
Let's start with Wits End tonight.
First thing that popped in my head, Wasabi. An entire burrito full of wasabi might be a bit much,
Oh man.
at least for me.
Yeah.
Have I rendered you all
Larry,
speechless?
you're thinking about it, aren't you? You go, well, would it be that bad? It depends on how big it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got some in the chat here that I don't even want to think about. Wendy, what would you go with?
Well, it's not that bad, but some people think rice should be in a burrito, but I say no. No, rice, it's already got carbs. It does not need rice.
There you go.
It's not the worst thing, but it's a wrong thing in my book.
Or something that they're trying to make like rice is cauliflower now. Cauliflower in a burrito would just be wrong.
That's wrong.
Land Monkey, what did you come up with?
I would suggest unpopped popcorn would be pretty bad.
That would be pretty bad.
Just try reheating that. I dare you.
Yeah, there's so many things we could.
That microwaving that burrito is fun, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Take it to work. Let somebody steal your lunch.
Maybe if you sprinkled some wasabi powder in it.
There you go.
Ooh. Wet Coaster says sea cucumber.
No, that'd be bad.
JSM times 2 came up with liver.
Yeah.
Oh, Keats says that rotten as Icelandic fish. Or just really.
Is it a specific fish that he doesn't like? It's
No.
the one that stole his wallet last
It's like lutefisk? No, it's different.
Lutefisk is what I was thinking, yeah. Liverwurst?
Liverwurst, yeah.
Toothpaste. That could help you get going in the morning. Just have a toothpaste burrito on your way to work.
I mean, you don't?
Oh, let's see. Anchovies. Ari, I have to disagree. Ice cream goes with everything.
Yeah.
An ice cream burrito. It could be messy, but yeah.
You don't want to microwave it. Bryling says, check out John Scalzi on Twitter for bad burrito ideas. He posts semi-regularly on the subject, often with random leftovers from his fridge.
I think I'm afraid to do that.
Ari says, and I promise I didn't think of ice cream because I'm eating ice cream.
Sure.
Overripe avocado or blue cheese?
Oh, yeah. I
Or
saw a
both.
poster about the appropriate time to eat an avocado, the timeline.
Mhm.
And it says, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Eat me now. Too late.
Yep. Well, folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. We hope you will be part of the show. Call into 253-693-TFTC. Leave us a comment, ask us a question, or hold that FTF for us to sign any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Give us a thumbs up or a very coveted review. And, when I say thumbs up, I actually do a thumbs up. I just didn't know if you know
Good
that.
job, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. The show's produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2020 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, stay tuned for
The after show.
Chris, you handled that pretty well. I tried to throw you off with the notes, and there was a minute pause.
he tried to do by Sir Christopher Umfenauer, James J. Paulowitz III, and it should be Jason Kennedy Esquire.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure glad it's not the third. One of me is bad enough.
Yeah.
Or is that the
Every once in a
111th?
while, so for those who are listening, every once in a while, Jim and I like to just go into the ending credits and just change something somewhere just to see if we can throw Chris off that night. But you don't get
Professional that he is, almost never happens.
Yeah.
The only time, and I hesitate to tell you guys this because you're going to do it again, is when you get in there and you start clicking around. Because oftentimes the little tag will come up saying who's clicking where, and I can't read the word under it.
I don't know what you mean. I've never done anything like that.
Oh man, there's 3 of them in there.
Speaking of
Like
monkeys.
neon lights.
Hey, before you jump into the after show, I think we have some business to take care of.
Oh,
Do
that's
we?
right. There's a contest.
There is.
There's a contest.
We almost forgot.
Our chat lackey has been working hard behind the scenes. I mean,
Has he?
we really
Really?
put him to work tonight. Normally, he just sits there and plays games and hardly pays attention to us. But tonight, we made him work.
There are hand gestures that he makes towards us, but
Usually only involving a finger, but yes.
But this is family friendly, so we won't mention what those hand gestures are.
it's a thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, go look over there.
Yeah.
That's what
That-
he means.
those all involve one finger.
Look up, he's saying. Look up.
Cheese, Gromit. Cheese.
Tonight, he made a list of everybody who used the hashtag CacheTur spelled properly and put that into random.org for a list of people to win the path or the travel tag, the tag,
Trackable.
the trackable,
Fabulous
the
prize.
thing. The fabulous prize that TWlare is holding right now in her hot little hands. So I think with a press of a button, we get a randomized answer. Or did it already happen?
Nope. He's click. There
Okay,
it
there we
is.
And the winner is, nobody's going to believe this.
I know.
TWlare won it. No, wait. We were saying that would be
That's
easy.
crazy because I didn't enter.
Oh, Donners won it.
Oh,
There you go.
and we're all staring right at her.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Donners.
Yeah. That's
Got
awesome.
right there on the screen. That's the way it works. Do we care who comes in second? No. It's like NASCAR. We don't care who comes in second.
As long as everybody keeps turning left.
That's right. Left turn, another left turn. Okay. So
I think
oh,
she's
there we
excited.
go. She might be a little excited. It's
Yeah.
all caps and repeated.
Yeah.
There's no exclamation points. We can't tell how excited she really is.
Yeah.
I think she's quoting the beginning of a CSI Miami episode.
Oh, she's freaking out here, making lots of noise.
Ah.
No, not Donna.
I could probably hear her, except the border's closed and the sound doesn't come across.
That's right.
Donna, send me a message on geocaching.com. We'll get that out to you.
Perfect.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you very much.
You know, Wits End, you just mentioned the border. I just saw a news story about Point Roberts, the most isolated place right now in the lower 48.
Yeah.
Because, you can't go across the borders. So there's actually a free ferry that will take you. It's a 2-hour ride one way to get to Point Roberts.
Really?
Yeah.
Why isn't that just Canada? Just give it to Canada.
So when did they put that ferry in?
Just during this pandemic.
Okay. So it goes sorry, I missed the first part, from Blaine or Bellingham?
Somewhere, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere. Not
Somewhere
from
in the-
Bellingham. Not from Bellingham.
Somewhere in the lower 48 to the upper lower 48.
Oh, so it comes from Texas.
right.
Okay.
Well, no, not now. It's all frozen down there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Under
All
normal
the rivers are frozen. Yeah.
through the Panama Canal, and okay.
Probably down around and back up.
Okay. That makes sense. That's reasonable.
So, I thought, well, I could jump on that ferry. I've always wanted to go to Point Roberts. And you know what? It's easy. They should just get rid of the border there. Just let people come and go from Point Roberts. Because really, what difference does it make? They don't have anywhere else to go.
Alaska.
I mean, well, that's so if you're going to the border, could you say I'm just going to Point Roberts and driving around and
Why don't you try and let us know?
Yeah.
okay, I will. And if I'm not here for the next 6 weeks, you know why.
live stream it too. All
Yeah,
the
please.
border patrol agents love people live streaming their security interviews.
They do. They're very friendly.
Yeah. The hits on our channel will just go right through the roof, I'm sure.
Maybe not the channel, maybe just the hosts.
Yeah. Podcaster gets frisked at secondary.
I think Brylang is saying we need to go to a commercial break.
Or he's hot. I can't tell.
Or both.
Okay. Hey, another episode. We're in the FTAS, by the way, the after show.
Yeah, we can do what we want.
Yeah. This was real after show stuff.
You're not the boss of us anymore.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he thinks he is.
All right.
Keats 94 has another great episode of Keats 94's Geocaching Adventure, which goes live at 10 a.m. tomorrow. The
As
Ducks
every
of Dark
week.
Mountain.
The
I think
Ducks.
I've read that book.
So that's Friday night for Sega Hill.
It's the sequel to Heidi.
Find out what's all if it's all quacked up to be. What it's all quacked up about. If it's quacked up to be, I think that's better. And you can subscribe for new episodes on every Friday.
There you go. And Keats, you're going to have to rewrite your whole episode. So take it down off the internet. Chris wants you to change it.
Start it over. It's only a couple of graphics here and there. It won't matter. Oh, and let's see. GSM times 2 wants to know how many people watched the Perseverance landing. I'm going to go with 0.
Well, yeah, not
yeah,
on location.
saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many Martians watched it. And are they upset we just keep putting our junk on their planet?
I was,
No.
you know what's funny? I was watching the.
I watched the live stream. It was
I
good.
watched it as well. Yeah, I was watching the visualizations they have during the live stream of the craft initially coming through the atmosphere, and the thought occurred to me, like, if some other alien race was like looking at our planet and going, "We should put a car down there and just drive around and see, is this, what is going on down there?" And we saw something like that coming through Starcacher. Starcacher was hoping to see Marvin in the first image.
It is a Ludium Q36 space modulator.
But yeah, I mean, can you imagine looking up in the sky and you see something that's like, oh, wow, it's a meteorite. And then all of a sudden it kind of ejects a parachute and starts coming down. That'd be pretty crazy.
And the first thing, oh, look, they got better electric vehicles than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott, you're right.
Gonna have to have a CETO on Mars.
Pick up all the junk we left there. Yeah.
Step at the moon on the way. There's plenty of stuff up there too.
Mm.
Didn't a guy in Florida do that?
What's that?
No. Anyway. No, built a rocket to go to the moon to get all the gold off of
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Salvage one.
Salvage one. We bring that up every so often. I don't know why.
Forgot about that.
It was a campy 80s sci-fi show. Yet I remember it well.
There is an 80s sci-fi show that wasn't campy.
Nope.
Thinking
Nope.
Buck Rogers.
Beady, 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 beady.
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica is probably the least campy. Of
Yeah, back when Starbuck was a guy.
And then what was the one when they finally got to Earth? There was another series.
like a
It's like Battlestar Galactica Continued or something. It only lasted a season, if that, where they were on Earth and they, of course, being aliens, they had no idea Earth customs. So it was all the standard,
fish out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Let's just shoot it. I don't know what it
There you
is.
go. MC3 cats. Alf.
Alf.
There you go.
Galactica 80.
Ah,
Starcasher, I knew I liked you.
Huh.
I hear Mars has some good bars.
indeed. All right. Well, what do you think?
What about
I
Quark?
think that
Quark was another one, yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That was lesser known.
Wendy,
Okay.
you're very, very patient to put up with this. I'm just going to tell
You
you
guys
that.
make me laugh every week. Every week. Sometimes I get to be on camera, but usually I'm laughing somewhere else. You guys are funny.
Usually Wendy's laughing, going, thank God I don't have to.
Yeah.
Bryling's just waiting
This
to
week
put
I
out.
do.
Bryling's just holding on to put out one more letter to make us leave. So, folks, thank you for joining us. And until next week, get out and get caching with CacheTur in the Northwest.